I never expected to ever experience racism the way how I did here, but I did. And very Hey all, welcome to my channel. My name is Omari Bryant, and I wanted to go ahead and say welcome to Dental Office Chronicles. Yes, I said it, Dental Office Chronicles. So, I just want to give a little background about myself. My name is Omari Bryant. Hello, nice to see you. If this is your first time here, I will definitely consider to subscribe because it's going to get real on this channel. So, if you work in the dental field, you already know what's tea, what's already going on. And I'm going to go ahead and give you Adi mix up because I am Jamaican as well. So, let me just go ahead and say a little background about myself. I am residing in Tampa, Florida. I've been in dentistry for 7 years and it has been a journey. So, definitely tune into this channel for all the comical moments in a dental office. Now, as a disclaimer, these videos are for entertainment purposes only. They're not to bash anyone. They're not being malicious towards anybody at all. Yup. I also want to say that my channel as well is also going to be lifestyle and vlogging. So definitely look out for vlogs and many different other crazy things and my life experiences as well. So definitely tune in and check those out. Now, mind you, this is kind of going to be like a story time setting, but I also want it to also be relatable to people that work in the dental field. And just to let you guys know that I feel your pain. I have felt your pain for 7 years. And trust me, it has been real. Like, really, really real. I'm just so over dealing with these whiny patients, needy ass doctors, and just ugh. But let me just go ahead and say that it has also been very rewarding. I absolutely love working in dentistry. I'm actually going to retire really, really soon. So I'm taking off my cap and just letting it go. Now I know you're probably wondering, okay, what is this position in the office? So I am actually a dental assistant and I'm actually also a dental hygienist. I decided not to continue to do dental hygiene anymore after doing it for about 2 years, just simply because I have a lot of back issues and I just could not do it anymore. But anyways, let's go ahead and dive right into this mix-up and this tea. So, for all of my stories to make sense, we're going to have to go ahead and give everybody a code name and give a little bit of a backstory, of course, because we don't need people to try to figure out who it is. And if you know me and you figure out who it is in the comment section, I'm going to delete your comment. Don't do it. Don't do it. This is for entertainment purposes. Let's leave it at that. So the first story I want to go ahead and talk about, mind you that this has happened many years ago. Like I said, I've been in dentistry for about 7 years now. And actually this week makes my official 7-year anniversary of living in Florida. So I did do office secretary work up in upstate New York when I lived up there before I moved to Florida. So that's how I kind of started my dental background. But just working up front. I actually didn't work in the clinical aspect of it until I moved to Florida because I was just so interested and I thought it was so cool. But anyways, this first story time that I'm gonna go ahead and talk about is ended up being my second dental assisting job out of school, and I was still working on doing hygiene and stuff like that. We'll do another story for another time talking about the health complications and stuff that I've experienced and why I had to leave dental hygiene school. But let me just go ahead and say that I will have to say no matter what happens in life, definitely for sure, always push through. Don't ever let it stop you from doing what you want to do. Just push through it and go ahead and move on. And, I just really, 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 really have to say, it has been a journey. It really, really has. I just had to bring that up for a second. But anywho, this particular story time that I'm going to go ahead and talk about is with a doctor that was kind of racist. You know, I live in Florida. I never expected to ever experience racism the way how I did here, but I did.
Somebody trying to set me up. I believe that.
Very small portions, not as crazy as some people, but very, very small bits and pieces. And also, this doctor was very, I don't even know, like, she was just narcissistic. Very, very, very narcissistic. She's toxic as well, like, very, very toxic. She was just one of those individuals where she would just, if it just didn't go her way, she would like slam things and throw instruments, and you know, she was one of those. And she was pretty young. She wasn't even like an older doctor at all. Like, she was fairly young. She's maybe like a couple years older than me at the time. But the company that I was working for is a very, very well-known company here in the state of Florida, and pretty much almost around the U.S. as well. They're a pretty good company, don't get me wrong. I learned a lot from them. They teach you a lot of core values, and also a lot about the business aspect of dentistry. So you kind of understand just a little bit more as to like why we do what we do. But I literally had left this one office that I started at. I did my externship there, and so on and so on. So that's kind of like a backstory. So like I'm fresh out of school, only a year into my career path at this time, right? So you guys already know, like, if you work in medical or dental at all, like, you know, the first few years is always going to be your learning years, you know, even though you're always learning, but you're learning as much as you can. And I wouldn't say that I was like as proficient as I am today. I wasn't as quick as I was back then, but I definitely felt confident that I could go ahead and take on this new role at this new office and kill it, you know. And I went ahead and started looking for new work because my doctor at the previous office, I loved her so much. She was getting married and she was moving up north. So she was leaving. I knew that I was going to be stuck with a different doctor, probably at a different office, and I didn't want to do that. Okay. So this doctor, we're going to go ahead and call her Dr. J. And we're going to call everybody kind of like just by staff names. So we're going to have like assistant 1, assistant 2, hygiene 1, and hygiene 2. And then front desk girl. But all these characters will probably not be in this story time anyways. But anyways. So I've interviewed at this point. I have the job, and I'm maybe about 2 weeks in. And now this is when it starts to really, like, the kicker really kicks in. I'm there, I go to work every day, I'm excited to go in, and, you know, this particular day I walked in and I was like, hey, Dr. J, how's everything going? And she's just, like, so short. And I'm like, I wonder what's wrong with her today. And everybody was like, she has her moments, let her be. And I'm just like, okay. So as a disclaimer, like, working with women doctors, I've had good and bad experiences. You know, I know, you know, some people in the comments are going to be like, yeah, you know, women dentists can be, you know. But I honestly, you know, I work with one now currently, part-time. And also a male doctor as well, so I kind of get a little mixture of both. But I will have to say, it can be a challenge, depending on, you know, their personality, and that can kind of set the tone for the office, and I don't like that. That's why I said she was very toxic and narcissistic. Like, she really was, because if she was in a bad mood, she'd want everybody to be in a bad mood, and I didn't think that was fair. You know, I thought, you know, our job is to go ahead and bring patients in and try to make them feel a little bit better about being at the office. You know, I think of any type of, you know, service, that there are options out there, and you could definitely go ahead and have different options. But anyways, so sis came in with an attitude, basically, right? So I kind of just was like, okay, well, I'm still new here. I don't want to piss her off, so let me just kind of, you know, just, you know, be chill, whatever. So I'll never forget it. It was a patient. We were doing a crown on the patient. She was also one of those doctors that, because she was new out of school, she would go ahead and be very frustrated if she couldn't get something the way how she wanted it done. If she felt that her work wasn't as the best of quality as it could be, and she would take it out, like, almost like on you, like you did it to her, and it's like, you know, I'm just here helping you. So assistant 1 came over. Love assistant 1. She's one of my close friends even today. Love assistant 1, and she came over to me and she was like, hey, can you go ahead and help me with something real quick? I think it was like an x-ray or something, if I remember, frankly. So I stepped out, I already brought my patient back, I already sat them down, we did consents and everything. I'm just waiting for her to come and numb up the patient. I left the room, the operatory, for maybe like a minute. She goes on the radio, Omari, I need you to come and help me numb. I need you to come and help me numb now. We're running behind on schedule. Can you go ahead and get in here right now? And I was like,
think the fuck not, girlfriend.
So assistant one looked at me and was like, yeah, child, you better go over there. So I'm like, okay. So I go to the room and say, hey, doctor, I'm sorry, no problem, Dr. J, I'm here. And she was like, yeah, let's go ahead and get started with this. So the patient, she kind of like, the patient was kind of like a little apprehensive. She's like, what's going on? And then I'm just like, child. So she, we proceed to numb, and we're going through the procedure and everything, and we get to like the near and dear end of the procedure to where, we're doing, the final impression, we're going to do the temporary crown, whatever. I don't know, and at this time, I didn't really know as much as I knew about dentistry at that time, but I knew that sis was pissed. Like, you could see, like, she was getting red, she was, like, getting frustrated, and at this time, Assistant 2 comes in the room. Now, I love Assistant 2, too. She is my Spanish madre, absolutely love her. Assistant 2 comes into the room, and she's like, is everything okay, Dr. J, do you need something? And she's not responding to any of us. She's, like, quiet. So she gets up for a second and she says, I need to leave the room. And she leaves out of the room for a moment. Me and Assistant 2 and the patient are all looking at each other like, okay. I'm like, the mall is open, but ain't nobody shopping. So I was like, okay, let me just go ahead and just like start working on, cleaning up the room a little bit. I'm like, should I make the temp? And then Assistant 2's like, no, don't make the temporary crown yet. Just wait a second. She comes in the room, and I swear to you, all hell broke loose. She came in that room. Assistant 2 already left the room. Assistant 1, Assistant 2, they over there in the other room kind of like watching from afar like, he good over there. He gonna be all right. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, what is about to go down? Like, I could just feel, like, I'm an empath, so I can feel someone's energy when they're raging, they're upset. I could just feel like something is not right. Like, something is not right. Man, when I mean to tell you, old girl came in that room and she was just pissed. And you could just tell, like, she was just frustrated, and she went ahead and took up the mirror and threw it down, and it bounced and it hit me. And I was like, I'm just sitting there like, okay, so you're frustrated, and now you throw down the mirror and you're hitting me. And now, the old Omari and the new Omari is a little different. The old Omari would have been like, yo, what is your problem? Like, what's on your biscuit? Like, what's really good with you? Like, what is your problem? But I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead. I know she's upset. I'm good. So the patient flipped around and was like, what is your problem? I said, oh, she did it for me. She was like, what is your problem? Like, why are you having this attitude? Like, I don't like it. Like, I noticed that when you first came in the room, and Dr. J was just looking at her like, I'm so sorry. Like, just like a freaking switch, like, just clicked off. She was fine, she's like, I'm so sorry, I was just a little frustrated. And the patient was like, no, you can't be doing that. Like, you really can't be doing that. And this is not like, and there's more stories about this particular doctor, but she always, like, until somebody checked her, it was like she could do no wrong. And, it came down to the point where I couldn't deal with her anymore. I really couldn't deal with her. I tried to work there as long as I could. I worked there for about 8 months. And it was like the most challenging 8 months ever. There was another doctor that was there. I used to try to work with him every time I could, but Assistant 1 and Assistant 2 worked with him all the time. So I didn't really have, that support. So front desk girl one day comes up to me. This was like maybe about a week or two later and was like, Yeah, Dr. J, I don't know what is her problem. The front desk girl had only been there around the same time as me. So I was just like, okay. So just it just was just a problem. And then our OM too, or like our office manager, she always had like a freaking issue as well. Like I was just PMSing all the damn time. But anyways, so it was just like, ugh, like I just hate working in toxic environments. Like working in toxic environments is crazy, and especially in dentistry. It happens so much, and it's like it's so hard to find a good office. Why? Like, why is it so hard to find a good office? Like, you find a good office and you better stick with it, because if you don't, it is what it is. But I definitely want to thank you guys for tuning into my first Dental Office Chronicles. There's definitely going to be more to come. And also, if you did enjoy what you were hearing, definitely go and do a brother a favor and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe, because you know you want to, because you want to hear about the rest of this tea and this mix up. Okay? I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.